Alright, so now it's time to create our character pack or character library in Animate CC. Now as a quick note, this is not a full-blown tutorial on how to use Animate CC. I'm hoping you have a basic understanding of the program and some knowledge of using graphic symbols in Animate CC. But I'll do my best to cover the basics and keep it simple. So if we look in our timeline, you'll notice, as before, that our layers and objects or body parts from Illustrator are all represented here in the timeline. But each of these body parts is just a grouped object. They're not set up to be animated yet. We have to convert them to what's called a graphic symbol. Now, Animate CC uses three types of symbols: movie clip, button, and graphic symbol. We're going to exclusively use the graphic symbol. And for now, we're going to ignore the parts layer with all the different positions of the legs and the arms. We'll come back and deal with that later on. We're just going to concern ourselves with the main character here. So let's get started. I'm going to select the first layer, which is my arm layer. I'll zoom into that. And if you select it and go over to the property palette, you'll notice that it's just a grouped object, not a symbol, no name. And we're going to convert that to a graphic symbol. So we'll select it, go to Modify, Convert to Symbol, and this palette comes up. Now by default, the type on mine is already graphic symbol. But if you click this drop down, you'll notice here's the movie clip and button. If yours by default is movie clip or button, just simply change it to graphic symbol. And it's important to name everything, like I said before, so let's name it. I'll call it boy arm. Click OK. Now with it selected, if you come back to the properties palette, you'll notice that now it's a graphic symbol. The name is there, boy arm. We're not going to worry about the position and size, the color effect, but if you look at looping, which is very important, by default it's set to loop. We want to grab this drop down and change it to single frame, because we want to be able to tell what frame is being used when we animate and not Animate CC. So change it to single frame, and there's our first symbol. Now if we go to our tool palette and select the free transform tool, this bounding box comes up with an anchor point in the center. And if you go to the edge, you'll see the rotation tool there. Now the anchor point is not set up in the proper place. If I were to rotate that, it rotates the arm from the center, and that's just by default. So all you have to do is click that center anchor point, that white point, click, drag, and put it to where the shoulder would meet the body, and let go. And now if I rotate that symbol, it rotates it from the shoulder. And we want to keep that in mind for the entire character. What makes sense when for rotating? Center point for the head should be around the neck. The body should be maybe around where the waist would be underneath this shirt. The legs, same thing. You want the center or the anchor point to be around where the leg attaches to the hips. The ponytail to the back of the head, and it goes on from there. So let's select the next one on the list, the hand. I'll zoom in a little. Look in the properties palette, it's just a group. So we go up to Modify, Convert to Symbol. It's set, the type is set to graphic. Name it, boy hand. Click OK. And now if you look at the property palette, it's now a graphic symbol. The name is there. By default, it's looped. So we want to change the looping to single frame. come back to the hand with the free transform tool selected, grab that center anchor point, click drag, and put it right around where the wrist would be. So now if I rotate it, it's from that wrist and not the center. Next thing on the list is the hat. Same thing. You select it, look at the properties palette. It's just a grouped object. So we come up to modify, convert to symbol. The type is graphic symbol. We'll name it boy hat. Click OK. Go back to the properties palette. You'll see graphic symbol, the name of it, boy's hat. Looping by default is set to loop. Change it to single frame. And for this anchor point, I just want it to be maybe on his forehead, right above his forehead, right almost in the center here, because we'll just do a little bit of rotation with the hat maybe. So next on the list is the eye. Zoom into the eye. Now, I'm not going to worry about eye blinks for now because this is a run cycle. So we're just going to have this one eyeball, and that's it. It'll be good enough for now. So select the eye, come up to modify, convert to symbol. The type is graphic. Name it boy eye. Click OK. Here's the name, boy eye. It's a graphic symbol. Looping, set to single frame. And we're going to leave the center anchor point where it is. Down the list, nose. Select it, modify, convert to symbol. Type as graphic symbol. Name it boy nose. Click OK. It's a graphic symbol. Boy's nose is named. Set loop to single frame. And I'll leave the anchor point in the center on that one as well. Next is the mouth. Select it, modify, convert to symbol. The type is a graphic symbol. I'll name it boy mouth. Click OK. Here's the type. It's a graphic symbol. Boy's mouth is named. Looping to single frame. And I'll leave the anchor point where it is on that one as well. Now, I'm going to stop the video and finish this character out, but you would do the same thing, setting the head, creating a symbol, setting the anchor point, making sure that loop is set to single frame. Go down your list, body, your legs, and only do one leg, and only do one arm, and only do one hand. You don't have to repeat the other side because we're just going to duplicate those legs and the arms and the hand to the other side. So I'm going to turn the video off and I'll be back in a few minutes.